It's 9 o'clock. Welcome everybody to the April 22nd Pipestone County Commissioners meeting. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Agenda has been provided before the meeting. Is there any additions or corrections to the agenda as presented?
I do have a couple of changes, if I may. Consent agenda on item 3, auditors warrants. You can strike the date of 4/21 of 25 and change that to 4/18 of 25. And another business at the bottom, an add-on item, request for raised bed garden at the Southwest Government Center building, request for a raised bed garden at the Southwest Government Center building. And on the back page, I had a date error on mine for the May board meetings. The second meeting in May will be the 22nd, not the 20th. 27th, excuse me, 27th. They even wrote it down. So it's 27th. And Mr. Chairman, with that, that's all I have.
Thank you, Steve.
Mr. Chair, with those additions and corrections, I will move the agenda.
Report that.
Motion second to approve the agenda. Is there any further discussion? Not all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next up, we have the approval of the consent agenda, which includes minutes of 4/8/25, special meeting minutes of 4/15/25, commissioner warrants in the amount of $160,308.53, auditor warrants of 4/11 and 4/18, hospital warrants in the amount of $610,604.93, and hospital miscellaneous warrants of $775.
Mr. Chair, I'd move for approval. Second it.
Okay, thank you. Motion second to approve the consent agenda. Is there any further discussion? Not all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, first order of business, we have Nick Bergman, Highway Engineer. Welcome, Nick.
Morning.
Morning.
Great. First up for me today, be really quick discussion on that that donated bike pump. We're gonna put it behind that bench. The impression everybody got, but when we went out there and measured things, it's not gonna quite fit there. It's gonna protrude a little bit into that path, and we didn't want to create some type of ADA violation. So it looks like if we move it a little bit to the north, we could put a little pad along the side of the trail there and solve these problems. So I already met with the city. They have some concrete work that they're doing, some small stuff, so we thought it could be a joint effort, like if we dug out a small area, put a little bit of gravel down, and they could pour a small pad and we could mount it there, so that's what I would recommend doing. I don't know if it takes board action, but I think everybody kind of expected it to be by that bench, and I just wanted you to know, I think we need to
There's
move
that
it.
room off the end of the bench with the concrete that's there. You need more. You're going off the end to the north.
We
Is that what you
could.
said?
I want to look at it. The ditch is kind of steep there.
Yeah.
But if you go north a little ways farther, it flattens out. So maybe there would be a better spot, but
It's in that area.
somewhere in that vicinity, we're talking within a couple 100 feet, I think, is where we'd like to put it. So I just wanted to let everybody know that that's the reason behind that. So. All right, next up, we would like to open bids for the next group of box culverts for 2025. And we would like to do that on June 10th at 10:30 a.m. This group would be, there are two of them right at the start of the county drainage ditch, Dairy, northwest of Holland there. And then there's another one a mile north of there.
Sure, I'd make that motion.
Thank you, Luke.
I will second.
Okay, thank you, Dan. Motion second, set the bid opening date of June 10th at 10:30. Is there any further discussion? Not all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
All right, next up for me would be the purchase of a this brought up, I had on the agenda a few weeks ago, but there was a typo in the so I'm bringing that back today. We'd recommend a little bid from Ziegler. It's a Towmaster trailer, but they're selling these through Ziegler, so they make good stuff, so we're comfortable with this one.
The motion to approve the low bid from Ziegler.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Doug. Thanks, Dan. Is there any further discussion? Not all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Next up would be the lawnmower, purchase. Recommending, getting rid of our current, John Deere for a Hustler Super Z Hyperdrive from Pipestone Outdoor Power. That's the low bid for $12,782.
I'll make that a motion.
Thank you, Dallas.
I will second.
Thanks, Dan. We have motion and second to approve low bid from Pipestone Outdoor Power. Is there any further discussion?
Hand.
I believe so.
I see it's John Deere. You said you're trading in. Is that a gas or diesel?
That's a gas.
Okay.
Yep.
High hours.
Six
something?
something you said.
Yeah, I can't remember right offhand, but that sounds right, 600 and some, yep.
So this comes with a 5-year warranty too?
Yes, this had the better warranty of the three options as well, so.
Is there any further discussion? Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Next up, I think I mentioned this to the board a year or two ago. It's about our tank monitor system for our fuel pump. We were told back then we needed to upgrade it. They gave us a number. Still working, so we kept running it for a while. We now need to work on the underground wires. They said now would be a great time to do that because they can't get parts for our current system anymore. This is not a budgeted expense, but we do have 15,000 in our budget for the jetter. And before we would commit to a jetter, we want to see one in action up close, and it may take us a while to do that, so I guess we'd like to delay the jetter purchase and purchase this tank monitor system instead. There's two options, one for $17,010.87, and the other option is $23,544.63. The tank monitor 200 can monitor 3 tanks. We only have 2. The upgrade can monitor 6, but I don't really see a need for that. I don't see us getting more than, I don't even see us getting 3 tanks, quite frankly, but we're recommending the $17,000 option.
Mr. Chair, I'll make that motion that we approve the purchase of the 2-tank, or excuse me, the 3-tank monitor.
Okay, thanks, Dan. Was there support?
Second.
Thank you, Luke. Of motion second to approve purchase of new tank monitor 200 from Dockendorf, amount of $17,010.87. Any further discussion?
Is there gonna be also some electrical charges with that? Is that all inclusive?
Sorry, I forgot to say, yep, I listed it at the bottom there. Yep, glad you brought that up. There will be some electrical expenses. I don't know how much. We're gonna pull the concrete off over the old lines, so we'll do as much as we can, but I suppose we'll need somebody hook up the new wires or pull them, but we'll do everything we can. We're not gonna hire that part out, so, yeah, we can do that, and then I suppose there'll be a little bit of patch concrete with it as well, but.
Kyle might be able to help with that.
What's that?
Kyle might be able to.
You
help
might,
with-
well, I'll talk to him, but, I'll make sure that, I don't want to sign him up for that without talking to him, but
Right.
I plan on talking to him, but,
I thought Luke was volunteering to help you. No, that'd be a bad plan.
Dan's retired, we gotta remember that, so.
The monitor install at Dockendorf does that.
Yep, they do all that.
Yeah, it's just the underground where you need electrician.
Right. I can't say how much the concrete and electrical will be, but to me, it's gonna be really small, so. Yep.
Yep. Okay, is there any further discussion? not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Two more items I have here. For one, just letting you all know, the variance for our highway shop edition is May 13th at 5:30 PM. We'll be attending that. Then, lastly, and this just came up, Midwest Contracting is currently replacing some box culverts for us. The old ones you're taking out are very odd special size, and it just so happens that the same odd special size as a culvert we have in one of our road crossings on the county ditch. They had asked us if we had any interest in them installing any of this pipe anywhere else, because some of it's still reusable. So I guess what I'm asking for is I would like permission to work with the Road and Bridge Committee on negotiating a price with them. If I feel it's reasonable, I'd reach out to the Road and Bridge Committee, explain it. You'd use wheelage tax money to do this, so it wouldn't affect my budget at all, but it'd be a good upgrade if the price is right, so I guess that's what I'm asking for, is permission to work with them on a.
And Dan?
So if I understand correctly, this is the existing culvert we've got installed and we're gonna replace it. But it's still usable and you want to reuse it someplace else.
Pieces of it, there's a few chunks of it that are reusable, and we could pull the aprons off the different spot we have.
Yep.
We could have them do it. They'd need their crane to reach down in there.
But for clarification for the public, it's not that we're replacing it unnecessarily. This unit needs to be replaced because most of it's in bad shape, but there's some
Yes,
stuff
and
that's
it's-
salvageable.
Yes,
Okay.
some of the pieces came out okay. Enough to do what we would want to do up there, but yes, the majority of it is.
Did you mention somewhere this was too narrow that you
Yes,
should widen? it
We'd like to
anyway?
widen this culvert, so we could widen the road a little bit at this spot too. And I'd have to talk with the ditch committee to make sure that it's okay with them as well, but it's kind of a long shot, but it's a really weird, unique opportunity, and it might be worth doing, so.
Well, we don't need to give you permission to work with the committee. Obviously, you work with the committee and
No, it's just, there'll be a bill associated with it.
Yeah.
We'll just go ahead and do that without talking to you, so. Okay, sounds good.
Sounds good, thanks.
All right, that's it for me for now. We have that bid opening at 10:30, but, is any other questions?
What about the parking lot use agreement? With Minnesota DPS?
the renewal.
That's on mine.
Yeah.
This is my piece.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's
they're
good.
listed under
Yeah.
Nick's.
Yeah, that's why I put it on there so that we get it done as long as Nick was here. They used the parking lot there for motorcycle testing.
Oh, that thing, yeah, that's
Yeah.
fine with me. We don't even hardly know that happens. They do it in front of MinDOT's building and not ours, but I guess it's technically ours, but, yeah.
So that-
So I have no concerns with the county renewing that, like.
Okay.
For the board, there are no changes to the leases. I'd recommend that the board approve this. This is a no charge lease. It's just letting them use the property, put some lines on the ground. Nowhere to stop, start, whatever they have to do when they do motorcycle testing. So
Yeah.
recommend approval of the county board for state of Minnesota amendment of lease number 4 for PS 0221, please.
Doug made a motion to approve.
I'll support
this amendment. Dallas supports. Is there any further discussion?
There's no liability on our part, them doing the motorcycle testing there, and that's all on them.
Oh, and, yeah.
Yeah.
Any other discussion?
Okay,
If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
all right.
Thanks, Nick.
Thank you.
All right. Next up, we have Joe from MCIT. Welcome. Good morning.
Morning.
Thank you, Chairman and Commissioners. I appreciate you making time for me today. My name is Joe Szymanski. I'm a risk management consultant for MCIT and wanted to come and talk to you today and give you somewhat of a state of the pool and give you some numbers, talk about what MCIT, our relationship, and if we have any discussions or questions, happy to go over that. And I'm going to start out by talking about MCIT. Some of this may be repetitious depending on your experience. But MCIT is basically your insurer in short. However, we're not an insurance company. We're a risk-sharing pool. We do distinguish ourselves from the insurance industry in a positive manner. Our coverages are custom fit to government operations, and our contributions that we collect, our goal is in line with our mission, and it's to provide coverages and risk management services, but to do so for an effective or an affordable number. It's very important to us that we have the dollars to run a solid financial organization and to pay the claims, but not to over collect. And that's something that we take a lot of pride in. And obviously with the inflationary world as of late, that's not exactly easy to do. And I'm sure you understand what I'm talking about. We're not profit motivated. You're not going to see us with jingles and commercials on TV. Part of that is we don't need to try to get market share. We're here for our counties and associated members. And we are also a joint powers entity, as you might know. And our board, which this is kind of a unique situation, our board is made up of your peers, commissioners, auditors, administrator. They feel the same pains and challenges that you do, and they know how their answers are going to affect you because it affects them too. So one of the positives that distinguish us from the insurance industry. We also provide a lot of other consultations and services that are included with the membership. We'll talk more about that later on in the presentation, but Pipestone's been a member with MCIT since 1985. Approximately 40 years, a real long relationship that we're very proud of and happy to keep going. There's a section here on the first page, commissioners can make a difference. This is basically what the commissioners can do to take part in ensuring the success of MCIT. In general, it's embracing and encouraging risk management efforts, so-called nipping it in the bud before they even happen, and to save those dollars. And some of the things that are listed here, keep in mind, aren't things that you need to start doing. They're things that you need to just continue doing well. That's more of a compliment on what you're doing and a reminder more than a call for action. Learning how coverages apply is something that would help before you make your final decisions. Having contracts reviewed by legal counsel or risk management consultants like myself, staying alert on data and cybersecurity, supporting safety from the standpoint of the safety committee, and hopefully returning injured employees to work programs. Training and education that MCIT posts quite often on the bulletin that are available to you from other organizations that we work with or MCIT themselves, and just engaging MCIT. And I will say that I've had a lot of great communications and work with Steve over the years, and he does a great job in engaging us. All of our members do their part in collaborating with claims and mitigating losses. And that's something that I know personally is something that's made me very happy in my job, is just the efforts that the members take in taking care of the public dollar. And obviously fulfilling financial obligations to MCIT is something that helps with the success. Moving on to the next page, we're going to talk a little bit about reinsurance. If you're not familiar with reinsurance, it's basically the insurance for the insurance industry. It's the coverages that insurance companies, or in our case, the pool, purchases to take care of the worst losses and to minimize the effect of those. If you look at the graph, it separates property and liability. The property reinsurance is going up at a very steady pace. We're going to talk a little bit about that in the next panel too. You'll see that the liability is basically plateauing, and some of that has to do with what MCIT has done to try to feather the effect of inflation back to the member and reduce that. So some of the things that we've done in the casualty world, we've increased our retention, which is basically the deductible for reinsurance, from $850,000 to $1 million for casualty. And this would have resulted in a 21.5% jump if we did not execute that. So they're constantly comparing the deductible, just like you do, and trying to assess the best value for the dollar. In the work comp world, we changed the retention from $500,000 to $1 million, and that resulted in a $470,000 premium saving. In the next panel, this is a discussion on property values. As we all know, property values are increasing dramatically. The number graph shows that basically it's increasing on an increasing amount. So it's jumping every year by a larger and larger number. We hope that that plateaus, right? Brings some stability, but that's just the way of the world right now. There's a rise in labor and material costs that everybody's pretty well aware of. We're not shocking anybody there, but we're getting hit at, from a pricing standpoint for services, we're getting hit from that, from the cost of just the raw covering of a higher costed or a higher valued property. The cost to repair said property for labor and materials and for building, and then the reinsurance on top of it, which is always going up. So, and I think Pipestone right now is going through the property appraisals. It's a 5-year cycle.
Yes.
If it hasn't started, it will be soon. So,
They've already been here and viewed the buildings.
oh, they're already done with it. Okay, great. That's something that obviously you'll be keeping an eye on with, because that is going to have an effect, a direct effect on contributions. So, one of the good things, the positive things that we've seen in the property world is that we were able to get coverage enhancements with our coverage or with our equipment breakdown coverage that we purchased with Hartford Steam Boiler. They've added in some coverages such as electronic circuitry impairment, sub-coverages such as adding protective equipment to prevent future loss. That's one I really like to see, actually providing those dollars to nip it in the bud, as I mentioned before. Also off-premises equipment and the additional cost to maintain a green rating for the equipment. So those are some of the positives that we've seen from property. This next panel about rates anticipate expenses. This is just some further number crunching to give you an idea and background on where the rates have been. If you notice, I'm sure your eye gets drawn to the large dip in workers' compensation in the orange on the bottom side. That is primarily due to a lot of the COVID claims concluding and falling off the system. The 11.2% on the blue side on the upper right is a large jump for property and liability, and a lot of that is due to what we were just talking about. And casualty is always that's going to be consistent, but with government, we're always working with, the current market on different types of losses that come in with sheriff's office, which we'll also go over in another panel here real briefly. So dividends. We're proud to say that for approximately 30 years or so straight, we've been able to get dollars back to our members when it's financially and fiscally sound, according to our actuaries. And the total dividend is listed there, and the county dividend is listed there on the upper right-hand page. Any questions so far? I'm kind of moving through this quickly with respect to your time, so.
Well, you touched a little bit on your reserves that you have to hold. Are we regulated then by the state as far as the amount of reserves we have, or is that something you guys determine as a board, what we need to cover ourselves?
We do, I don't know the regulation from the state on that, to be honest with you. I can get more information on that, but I know that our actuaries keep a real close eye on that, and from a claim standpoint, to keep a close eye on the overall reserves. I don't know the degree to which the state monitors that directly. I think I can get more information on that, but it's a really good question because I've never really asked that. I used to be in the claim side of things, and I know what we used to do and how vigorous it was. And I know that overall it's done well, but I never really asked about it because we are different than insurance companies that are regulated. So we're not subject to some of the things that the insurance industry is subject to. And obviously, maintaining a proper review of that is partially why we don't get reviewed on a lot of things that insurance companies get reviewed on. I'm going to get back to you on that because I'm kind of curious too, and I'm sorry I don't know that right offhand, but I have a feeling that there are some, but not a direct audit, so to speak, from the state. So, good question. Thank you. Moving ahead, we have cyber claims, and this is a general discussion of what we've seen in cyber claims over the recent years. You'll see the lower line on the graph shows that there's a general upward trend of claims. On the top end, there's one negative and one positive I'm going to point to, and that's a spike in the value of those claims that obviously went up quite dramatically in 2023. If there's a positive, it came down for our membership, it was down to, less than a third in the following year. A lot of that we found that is the members have done a great job in avoiding ransomware claims. So I know that you get additional coverage for the county too, but I think everybody's is on the forefront of everybody's mind and what to do, and it's something that's evolving constantly internally with MCIT and what kind of coverages we're going to carry, and it's a constant discussion. We do have a risk management consultant, Richard Meehee, who is specializing in cyber, and if you ever do want to have discussions moving forward, we always encourage that. So, any questions? All right. Moving ahead, the next section is workers' compensation. This discusses the mod rate. If you're not familiar with that, it's a formula, complex formula, basically that considers prior work comp experience from claims and the amount of payroll and class codes for those payrolls for those positions. 1.0 is the expected claim development, and this window shows you the cost or benefit that you have from being other than 1.0 in short. So. This also shows some of the recent years to try to give you an idea as to where the county's fallen in with the mod rate in the recent past. Next window is claims, and I mentioned before some of the some of the claims that come in from sheriff and jail for work comp and law enforcement liability are some of the drivers that we're working with. It's just the world that we live in over the last half dozen years, and from a work comp standpoint, just shows that obviously our sheriff's office deals with a really tough situation, a very physical job. The number that you see for auto is not necessarily a trend up or down. That's just a big part of what we do in the number of claims. That's pretty consistent year to year. But those are just some of the things that are some of the outliers you might notice. The last section is more about some of the services that are included with MCIT's with membership with MCIT. Knowledgeable consultation, risk management, and loss control consultants. I'm the risk management consultant for the county. Lethea Sheridan is a loss control consultant. That is somebody to talk to about potentially having her visit with the safety committee to build structure for the safety committee that can lead to actions and hopefully a safer, environment. We're always trying to improve on that, no matter how good your number may be. Resource-rich website in the brown box. This is something I highly encourage you to dabble in. If you do have a minute or two at some point, get on our website and get into the search engine. There's a lot of great information that we've developed there if you haven't already. Things you might work through like open meeting law, or you have a volunteer situation that you run into every once or twice a year and you forget all the details on it. Great website for you. And I think Steve has been in there a lot too. If you haven't, I really highly encourage that you take a look at it. Programs and services. The EAP, the Employee Assistance Program to help, employees with their personal issues. I am happy to see that such a high number for Pipestone. Last couple of years, 14.95 and 9.4% utilization rates. And just to put it into perspective, that's on the very high end of the spectrum. Congratulations. It shows that you really encourage that to help your employees out. And that's something that's included and already paid for. So benchmark analytics, sheriff's offices for mitigating risks, workplace injury hotline, which is a triage hotline for those moderate work comp claims and to help those claims get reported and processed. Minnesota Safety Council membership is included with the MCIT membership, plethora of safety items in there to learn from. HSB boiler and pressure vessel inspections. Hartford Steam Boiler, who handles our equipment breakdown coverage, also does the state required inspections for pressure vessels. Training, I mentioned before, seminars and webinars and on-site speaking from MCIT and associated organizations. The Peace Officer accredited training online. There's 17 prescriptions there, which is good. Or subscriptions, I mean. Defensive driver training. We have videos, and Minnesota Safety Council also does things for the driver training online. So any questions that you may have? I have one final note, but I wanted to see if you had any other questions to go over.
Questions for Tom?
Finally, last week, we were sad to hear that our executive director, Garrett Clayball, gave notice. He announced his retirement after 38 years in public service to try to make time for family. So next board meeting for MCIT is on May 9th, and they'll consider options on that and replacing Garrett. So stay tuned for that. So that's all I have. I appreciate all your time again.
Well, thank you for coming down
Thank you.
for a presentation.
And Dan, I will
Let Steve know, would be fine.
call
That'd be great. And
Thank you.
Chairman. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Joe.
Yep, safe travels.
Thank you.
It looks up. Next up, we have Amanda. Is she available? Do you know, Steve?
Go ahead again.
Is Amanda available then for next non-homestead to homestead tax abatement, or is that time sensitive?
That is not, the public hearing is time sensitive.
Okay.
Not here yet.
No.
Can we go ahead and do our bottom items, the personnel and use of the grounds and the raised bed garden?
Okay.
Right.
Okay, yeah, that sounds great.
Sounds good.
You have to go to the big
Go
chair
to the big chair.
so the public can hear you.
We should get another microphone
Yeah.
for here.
yeah, would you want to introduce yourself to the public a little bit more as well too?
Us.
That's it, yeah. Tell us about.
So for the first personnel update, myself, Charlotte Seeger, started as the Human Resources Director yesterday. So excited for this opportunity, working. Along with myself, starting yesterday was Jamie Fritz as our Deputy Treasurer 1. We have a couple other new hires. Andrew Keel has been hired as a Senior Engineering Technician and will begin working with the county on April 28th. And Scott Cavels has been hired as a part-time intermittent jailer dispatcher. I'm currently working with the Sheriff's Department to finalize a start date. We have one resignation. Deputy Sheriff Tyler Soltu submitted his resignation yesterday. His final day will be May 7th. I'll be working with the sheriff in regards to the imminent opening and posting and advertising for that position. We have two other open positions, our highway maintenance worker and truck driver, which is open and accepting applications through May 7th or May 9th, excuse me. And the county assessor job description, I've reviewed that with the deputy assessor, and this opening will be posted online by the end of the week.
So, thank you so much, Charlotte.
Thank you.
Right, next up, we have a request for board action, use of courthouse grounds for the Water Tower Festival.
Chairman, you have that in your, after the house, the house or the able public hearing. Got a single page for you on that. Contacted me last week and requested for the Pipestone Chamber House grounds for the annual Water Tower Festival. Dates requested for use are set up January 26th and have the tents, that type of thing, on our courthouse grounds through the 29th for the festival activities. And generally, there's a church service on the Sunday after the Water Tower Festival, so they'd be removing the tent and all its accoutrements for that on Monday, the 30th. As a backup, they would also like to have permission to use the show arena at the fairgrounds if necessary on Friday evening, June 27th for the kids pedal pull in case of bad weather. It's normally held on Main Street, so they haven't had any bad weather in the past, but just in case they need to get it inside to do that, they would like to use the inside of the blue building for that. So, or show arena, excuse me, pardon me. And also they would like to use the tax forfeited lot across the street to the west of the courthouse for overflow for the car cruising show on Saturday, the 28th. They've used it for some of the overflow cars and then parking of this, or some personal vehicles over there as well. So this is a request for board action for approval.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the request.
Thank you, Dan.
I'll second it.
Yeah, motion second to approve the request. Just had one question about the show arena and everything that's open during that time. There's no
Yep,
other
yep,
conflicts.
yep.
Okay.
Is open.
Would they use that for the street dance also if there was bad weather?
There might be an issue there because of the alcohol.
Yeah, they didn't ask about that.
Oh.
So I understand that the street dance is on Friday night this year, not Saturday.
That's what this pedal pull says Friday evening also.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Still think they're having it on the street on Hiawatha in back of the Legion. Still think
Friday.
that's where the dance will be. Because in years past, it's been on Saturday nights and they talked about moving it to Fridays. Don't quote me on it, but I think that's what they were planning to do. So
I just know
I guess
sometimes
They
the
probably,
weather's a
they
factor.
probably cancel if the weather was bad.
Probably.
I think.
Yeah.
I think they have a couple times.
Think so.
Is there any further discussion? Not all in favor signify by saying aye.
I,
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
You for that?
Then we had a request for a community garden project at the,
I did give you all a copy of Wright's request. He is an educator for the U of M Extension Service. And they are requesting to set up raised bed garden area out at the Southwest Government Center. It would be north of the building and between the garages is where they're talking about doing it. Between the garage and the building over in that area, kind of on the northwest side of it. And got a member of the community is gonna build the garden beds for them, and they're gonna, the only thing they'd be using out there is a little bit of our property for this, and then also some water off of the faucets out there to keep everything growing.
Is there a faucet in that part of the building?
for approval.
Yeah, there's an outdoor faucet there. They can run a hose too. They plan on doing some like drip lines, that type of thing for it.
Takes much more water for a raised bed garden than it does for a regular garden, but there's benefits both ways, so.
Right, yeah, they want to make sure it's accessible to all people and that are handicapped or, mobility, impaired, that type of thing. Want to make sure that everyone has access to it. So I like a good program.
saves your back.
Luke made a motion to approve. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, thank you, Dallas. Is there any further discussion? I guess, I didn't know when, this, was handed out where that location would be and that there's no plans of if there ever would be, extending from the building, going that direction, it'd be south, correct?
Correct.
Sounds good. All right. Any further discussion? Not all in favor signify by saying aye.
I,
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
All right, thank you for that. I'll let Brody know that.
Tell them thank you for starting that. That's good to start.
Since Amanda's gonna be here in just a few minutes, should we just take a brief recess?
Amanda's here.
Oh, is she here now? Okay. All right, Amanda,
She's
we're ready
here.
for you.
She snuck right
Stuck
in.
in on me.
Reward her for coming early. so.
Yes.
The one we'll have to wait until. The first item I have is, we have an application for abatement. Assessor's office found a parcel. Put it as non-homestead, it should have been. And then also,
Swing the mic your way, please.
sorry, and
Thank you.
included in the, like the MP, which is the multi-parcel grouping. So we had to do a correction, or we need to do a correction to get that one parcel as homestead and then also part of the MP group. So we provided to you the application for abatement, which kind of explains what the situation was. And because it is a multi-parcel group, there are 5 parcels that are involved. The very last page that has that and listing, that is ultimately the recalculated and the difference. You can see over on that total column, only 2 parcels actually have an adjustment in amount, but we have to go through the calculation on all the parcels because they all are part of that group. So the net effect is $2,584 abatement. One parcel is actually going up a little and the other is going down, but the net is $2,584.
A motion to approve the non-homestead to homestead tax abatement.
So moved, Mr. Chair.
Yep.
Second.
Okay, thank you, Doug. Motion second to approve the non-homestead to homestead tax abatement. Is there any further discussion? Not all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right, thank you, Amanda. Like next up, we have a public hearing at 10 and then the bid opening at 10:30. Steve, would you like to take this time to do your evaluation, or would you like to wait till in between the two public hearings?
I think I'd rather wait if we could. Just a
Okay.
little more time for it.
Towards the end?
In case.
Absolutely, that's fine. It's fine with me. Fine with you guys? Okay. So in the meantime, since we have all our other business and regular business taken care of, we'll recess until 10 o'clock. Okay. Thank you. It's 10 o'clock. We'll reconvene the meeting. Next up, we have a public hearing for a home tax abatement. At this time, I'll seek a motion to open the public hearing.
Mr. Chair, I move that we open the public hearing for the tax abatement.
Thank you, Dan.
I'll support that.
Thank you, Dallas. Motion second to open the public hearing. Is there any further discussion? Not all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Public hearing is now open. Amanda, you can go ahead and
Right,
present.
so, again, we had a new home abatement application for Glenn and Barbara Van Buckle. And also listed on the application is their daughter, and husband, Zach and Annika Venable. And yeah, they're looking at there is a parcel that currently has a home on it, but they're gonna put a second home on. So they submitted their paperwork and everything looks good. The assessors had criteria for the new home abatement. And the assessors put their value on, and the estimated value of abatement based on current year rates is $404 annually. So we are looking to approve that resolution if all looks good.
I will make that motion to approve.
Have to come out of the public hearing first.
Okay.
So at this time, is there any other comments while the public hearing was open? Any other discussion?
One of the comments is, you didn't use their, estimated value, did you? You used a more realistic one, probably.
What was that?
That 122,000?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was looking at that too, saying you can't build anything for 120,000.
Yep, that is their estimated value on what they submitted.
Well, earlier it says 65,000, but that was certainly.
That's their estimate.
Yeah.
But the estimate that we use is what the assessors.
Yeah.
It could be more, it could be less, but yeah.
Any other comments from the public or the board at this time while the public hearing is open?
I move that we come out of closed session.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Doug. Motion second to come out of closed session. Is there any further discussion? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Now,
Yes. Go ahead.
I make a motion, we approve the property tax abatement for Glenn, Barb, Griffin, Buckle, and Zach and Annika Venable.
Second.
A motion second to approve the home tax abatement. Is there any further discussion?
Chairman, just for the record, that would be resolution 59-13-25.
Thank you, Steve.
Welcome.
Thank you for putting on record. All right, is there any other discussion? Not all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you, Amanda. All right.
It's gonna be a mother-in-law.
That's what it's-
I don't know how many kids Zach and Annika got either.
Then Steve, would you like to do that, your evaluation now, or would you like? to?
No,
Okay,
I think it gives us plenty of time to get to the bid opening.
okay, very good. All right. At this time, I'll look for a motion to go into closed session for Minnesota statute 13D.05 subdivision 3A for county administrator's performance evaluation.
So moved.
Thank you, Doug. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Luke. Is there any further discussion? Not all in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We are now in closed session.
How about Charlotte, on your second day of the job, you get to evaluate your boss? No. You want to help.
Thank you, everybody. Closed session ended at 10:20. It is now 10:21. Reconvene the regular meeting. To conclude, Steve's performance evaluation, he had a successful evaluation. Anything else I neglected to
I
mention?
guess just individually, just like to thank you on the record, so.
Yep.
The board's very appreciative of Steve's hard work.
I get a motion in a second to accept the evaluation.
Oh, okay, so moved.
Yeah, thanks.
Second.
That motion second approves Steve's evaluation. Is there any further discussion?
Perfect.
If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Hey,
Opposed, same sign.
Thank you.
Motion carries. Thank you, Steve.
thank you for your leadership.
Yep. Okay, the last order of business we have is time sensitive at 10:30. We have a highway department bid opening, so until 10:30, we'll take a brief recess. Thank you, Steve.
Stupid.
Thank you, Steve. 10:30, we'll reconvene the meeting. At this time, we'll look for action, open a public hearing for a bid opening. Or no, this is bid opening. We don't need a public
This has
hearing.
been open.
I've infected you.
Really, you guess you did. Got me thinking about it too much now. So Nick, when you're ready, we're ready for you. I know you're still going over some last minute paperwork and checking to see if any last minute bids are coming in. So no rush, you know.
Oh, Jared's here, so he does all my final checking.
Okay, thank you, Jared.
If we see him, we know we're good to go. All right, so this is for our box culvert contract. First one for the year anyway. Looks like we have 4 bids, so that's good news. First one is from Henning Construction out of Adrian. Their bid. $598,687. $598,687. Next bid. A&C Excavating out of Marshall. $528,689.60. $528,689.60. Next bid, Midwest Contracting out of Marshall. Midwest bid. $581,492.60. $581,492.60. And the last bid is RNG Construction out of Marshall. RNG's bid, $597,380.60. $597,380.60. There was an addendum on this job. Let's see. I do need to check for a signature on that.
That's included in the bids.
Yep, they need to acknowledge or sign and acknowledge that to make sure that confirms that they're bidding the same thing as everyone else. You're in a hurry?
We got time.
Yep, that looks good. I think we're good there. So. All right, then we have an engineer's estimate as well. That is based on, or that takes into account those heavily inflated prices we saw, so just warn you before I read it. That was $1,018,820 for the engineer's estimate. All these bids are this, relatively the same, so I would not, I guess I'd ignore that if it, if you will, but I still think they're really good prices. I'm really happy with them. I think going forward, we'll probably safely be able to tighten that up then. It looks like that inflation is kind of come and gone that we saw. If you recall back in 22, I think we had some pretty rough bid opening back then, but so I would recommend awarding to the low bidder, contingent on Domain's review and approval of the final paperwork. So,
Make that motion.
I will second.
Thank you, Dan.
And
Motion's
that was A and C,
NC Excavating out of Marshall. Yep,
$528,689.
correct. Yep.
the motion second to go with A and C contingent upon the county attorney review approval. Is there any further discussion? Not all in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Nick. And that concludes all of our business and other business. Is there any other business coming before the board?
Move to adjourn.
Move to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
I have motion second to adjourn. Is there any further discussion? Not all in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, same side. Motion carries. We stand adjourned.
There you go, got the gavel out. That's your one for the year, huh?
Get it?
Itching to use that way.
Yep. Dallas has been asking me to do it all year.
Is there a spider over there?
Not anymore.